going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and happy Thursday, people. After Arsenal's 2-0 win last night against Luton, and I'm sure a lot of you slept well last night after that second half snore fest that we watched. And by the way, on time, baby. I'm not always there when you call, but I'm always on time. All right, most days I'm not on time, but when I am on time, I'm going to make the most of it, people. Just letting you know, it's 2 p.m. I'm here. Big up yourself. I'm glad you recognize that. But anyway, as I said, damn, I did sleep well last night, man. That second half, my eyelids felt like they had bricks on them trying to stay awake watching that. If it wasn't for the community, that would have been a snooze along. I can't lie. It is what it is. But we were going to do the end of the Manchester City game. As soon as it went 3-1, we locked it off. Foden goes and completes the hat-trick, smashes it in the top corner, walks off with the match ball. And, hey, Martin, relax. And, yeah, man, it was, I've said you have to be very careful with Manchester City games that you watch, because they give you a false sense of hope and then you end up disappointed. You think they're going to drop points and then they end up winning comfortably. I mean, they beat Aston Villa at home with no De Bruyne and no Haaland. Aston Villa had a scratch team as well. No Martinez, no Watkins. Bailey was on the bench. So, listen, here's what it is. I think we have to realise as Arsenal fans that we're going to have to handle business ourselves. We're not going to get too many favours from the opposition when it comes to Liverpool and Manchester City. I think they will drop points, but not many. Not many, that's for sure. Listen, big up to everyone who tuned in for the watch-along last night. Thank you to everyone who watched the fan cam as well. Lots of comments, lots of likes. So appreciate the support as always. And lots of new members, so welcome. Odegaard gets the green screen. He's lucky because for the first 20 minutes, all he did was wipe snot out of his nose. But after that, he did improve, There was only one way he could go after that first 10 minutes. It got better. I thought he was excellent yesterday. Somebody did message me, a Man City fan, and he said, you're hyping up Odegaard against Luton. Foden's just scored a hat-trick against Villa in the top four. And I said, I had to tell him to relax. But yeah, I think the one thing we are looking at from Odegaard in this next 8 or 9 games is go to Old Trafford and perform. Go to Tottenham and perform. And he has. He has been there before. He scored against Tottenham last year. So, yeah, listen, it was a good performance. And I thought he was probably the man of the match. But we will get into the player ratings. Louis Walsh Photography said, listening in at work, Big C, decent performance. I think Arteta was smart to make changes, especially with so many big games. I agreed with the rotation yesterday. I thought it was necessary. And I think it's one of the only games between now and the end of the season that you're going to get to do that. And also, not only to rest players, it was important to get game time to players who haven't played. Because, as I said, 11 players are not going to win us the league. We're going to need 3 or 4, 5 or 6 players beyond that starting 11 to do something. So, John said you hardly mention any new school rappers. You don't rate any of them? But listen, I do rate some of the new school rappers, but I don't think any of them are as good as the old school rappers. I like J. Cole. I like Kendrick. You know what I mean? I've seen Travis Scott at Wireless. He was good. Future in a nightclub. Some of his tunes. I'm not massively into new school hip hop. I can't lie. I don't think it's as lyrical as old school hip hop. But yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. And UK rap, Dave and Nines, and but. Yeah, man, you go in my car, I'm listening to Nas, I'm listening to Old School 50, I'm listening to Mobb Deep, I'm listening to Tupac and Dipset. I'm old school, people, I can't lie. But anyway, let's move on. Let's just get it out of the way. I was going to say, I think we just need to get it out of the way, to be honest, and that's last night's game. You could split this game in half. The first half was decent. I quite enjoyed the first half. The second half was atrocious. I don't want to make a big deal out of it because it's a win and it's a clean sheet and you tick it off. But it was I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes people think I'm too harsh on Arsenal. When we played Man City at the weekend, there were a lot of people celebrating the draw. I wasn't celebrating the draw. I thought the draw was good defensively. I just felt we could have troubled them more going forward. And then last night, it's a win and I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, but I felt like if you're 2-0 up at half time against a team third from bottom, you've got an opportunity to annihilate them. Now, I know it doesn't happen every time, and I think we did reserve some energy. But, goal difference could come into play. We're 8 goals ahead of Liverpool. I think Liverpool will score a lot of goals tonight against Sheffield United. So, listen, constructive, not moaning, but I like the fact that we conserved energy and rotated. I thought that was important. But we beat Luton 2-0, 2-0 up at half-time. Martin Odegaard and then an own goal by Hashioka. How did Reece Nelson not score that second goal? And you're right, Tactics, and I did say this at the end of the stream. I thought Luton actually put up a decent fight in the second half, which will give them an opportunity. And Jonathan said the Emirates was so flat. A few friends of mine were at the game last night, and they said the atmosphere was terrible. Now, I think maybe a lot of fans turned up just thinking it's going to be light work, and when we scored, they didn't even really celebrate that much. And also, with this ballot system that they've got now at Arsenal, you find that a lot of fans are not getting to the game sometimes, They watch one game, then you can't get a ticket for the next game. So it changes a lot. But anyway, let's get through the game. Player ratings, let's get it out of the way. I've got it down on pen and paper. I didn't watch the game back because I got better things to do with my time, to be honest, than watch that second half back. I did watch the extended highlights. The only thing I would say with Arsenal, right, and this is me cherry picking a little bit here, people. If you look at Arsenal's last few games, which in terms of results, no problem. Brentford, we won 2-1. Late goal, Kai Havertz. Porto, we won 1-0, went to penalties. Manchester City, we drew 0-0. And then Luton, we won 2-0. So I would say in the last 4 games, even though we've won 3 of the last 4, which is still great, we haven't been at our fluent best. We're not ripping teams apart. We scored 2 against Brentford, 1 against Porto, none against Man City, 2 against Luton. I know we're not going to spank teams 5 or 6-0 all the time. I do understand that. And we've got tougher games to come. So I just hope, we can hit that rhythm. Brighton away, Bayern Munich at home, Villa at home, Bayern away, Wolves away, Chelsea at home, and Tottenham away. That is our April. So, but the one thing I will say, at this stage of the season, the result's more important than the performance, if I'm being totally honest. Let me get these super chats out of the way, then we'll do the player ratings. Naki said, just saw the video of you ripping the shirt. Iconic. Oh, man, dark days as an Arsenal fan. Guna Carlos, I know I'm looking ahead. I don't think we truly realise what adding a 20-goal-a-season striker will do to this team. Teams will have zero idea how to defend. It adds another dimension. You can get the ball out wide and put crosses in. When's the last time... Probably Havertz header against Brentford, actually. And just that sniff of a chance the striker would score. I think a good striker, and this is why Arsenal have got no excuse in the summer, because I actually don't think you need to be an elite striker to score a lot of goals in this Arsenal team. We create chances. I think Tony, I think Osimhen, I think Gyökeres, I think Isak. I think if you get any of them 4 and keep them fit, they're scoring goals. They're scoring goals, in my opinion. So, yeah. But you're right. Thermal said, expect more performances like this. Keep winning. You're right. And you are spot on. The performance isn't as important as the result. Let's go through this quickly. I'm not going to bore you with it. 13 shots, 4 on target, 58% possession. 4 shots on target. We definitely took our foot off the gas in the second half. Luton had 5 shots, 1 on target, 42% possession. Let's go through the lineup and give a player rating for each player. As I always say, a win doesn't mean you played well individually, and a loss doesn't mean you played bad. I don't think anybody played particularly bad for Arsenal yesterday, so I don't think you're going to get any low ratings in terms of performances. Let's start with the goalkeeper, David Ray. I thought he was solid. One shot on target. Concentration levels were good. Collected his crosses, 7 out of 10. I'll give him just above average. Start at a 6 for me. I'll hitch him up to a 7. Because as a goalkeeper, you do need to have high concentration. And he collected his crosses. His kicking was better than the game against City. I'll give him a 7. South London's gives him a 6. Snorefest second half, yeah, really poor second half. 6 again. Most of you giving him a 6, to be fair. Maybe I've been kind giving him a 7. I like the fact that they say sometimes it's most difficult as a goalkeeper when you don't have a lot to do. But the fact he only had one shot on target, I'm definitely being kind. I've wrote 7. But, you know, a lot of clean sheets. 6, 7, we're about there. 7, Golden Glove. Is he on for the Golden Glove now? That's a great point, actually. I mean, we've got the best defence in the league, so I'm sure he has got an opportunity. It's a good point. 7, clean sheet. Fitz said his kicking is not great. Unknown said 7, clean sheet. Anyway, let's go into the back four. Let's start from the bottom. Now we're here. Let's start with Alexander Zinchenko. For me, I'm not going to be too harsh with him, but I'm giving him a 6, which is an average performance. My problem with Zinchenko, I've got 2 problems with Zinchenko. I've said before I don't think he's a left-back, or I don't think he's adjusted to playing at left-back for Arsenal. I really don't. Playing left-back for Manchester City, you dominate the ball. And, you know, he's totally different to playing left-back for Arsenal, who keep the ball, but not the same way as Manchester City. I still don't think he's a left-back. I don't think he has enthusiasm to defend. And my problem with Zinchenko is at any given moment, he can give the ball away under no pressure. If you're under pressure and you're trying to play the killer pass and it doesn't work, I can accept that. But this guy can give a 10-yard pass away under no pressure. I am at the point with Zinchenko where I think you play him in midfield or you bench him. And, yeah, you can play him at left-back if you're playing against weak opposition. To me, Zinchenko next season should be a squad player, or I'm listening to offers for him if somebody offers me 35 million plus. I'm letting him go. I got to be honest. You got Tomiyasu, you got Timber. Kivior can play there. Move him to midfield, bench him, or sell him. I think we've moved... And Andy, you're right. I think we've moved up a level. I think 2 years ago when we signed him, that was a very good signing. And I don't want to discredit what he's done for the football club. Because last season he was necessary. Right? And for 3/4 of last season he was brilliant. For me now, if you ain't playing him in midfield, he needs to be on the bench as a squad player, or you listen to offers. They were talking about Bayern Munich 35 million. Bayern Munich put 35 million on the table in the summer. I'm accepting it. And I think we've moved up a level. I don't have a problem with him being on the bench, by the way, because he is a good option, midfield, left back. But I think we've gone up a level and, you know, it's time to get the upgrade, in my opinion. So he gets a 6, and I'm being kind. I really am being kind, because his ability to just give the ball away under no pressure is so frustrating. And against better opposition, you'll get punished for that. You might get away with it against Luton. You ain't getting away with it against Liverpool's and Man City. Since he cried at Anfield, he hasn't been the same. I don't know what happened to Akeem. Trent nutmegged him. The guy's never been the same since. Liam said I would drive him to Germany for 35 million. Bayern won't want him. Listen, Bayern Munich are just about to sign Eric Dyer on a permanent. If they can sign Eric Dyer, they can sign Zinchenko, trust me. Although Eric Dyer cost 3 million quid, so it's different. Let's move on. Ben White, I mean, pirouettes, clean sheets, 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Superb. He is in the best form. Is he in the best form of his Arsenal career at the moment? I feel like he might be. I feel like he could be in the best spell of his career. Just been nominated for Player of the Month in the Premier League. Ben White. Superb yesterday. I'm going to give him 8.5. I've written 8. I'm giving him 8.5. He's doing pirouettes, twisting people up. You know, Akeem said Zinchenko hasn't been the same since he got nutmegged at Anfield. Ben White hasn't been the same since that 1 week in Dubai. The suntan, he's a different guy. He's been superb this season. Look at the right backs in the Premier League this season. Kyle Walker, not having his best season, considering how high his standards have been. Trent, been injured for like nearly 3 months. Trippier's standards dropped a lot this season. Reece James, B-Tech rugby player, can't stay fit. You could argue he's up there as the best right back in the Premier League this season. That's how crazy it is. 8.5, superb performance. 2 centre-backs, brilliant again. Didn't have a lot to deal with. Carlton Morris, is it? I mean, you could have put Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air up front. He would have been about as useful as Carlton Morris. They pocketed him. I'm just going to give them the same rating, 8 out of 10. I give Benny Blanco a bit higher just because of the attacking stuff that he was doing yesterday. It was light work. They could literally hang their shirt up. They barely broke a sweat yesterday. Brick wall settings. There's no better central defensive pairing than these two in the Premier League this season. There just isn't. Konate can't stay fit at Liverpool. Diaz, Stones been injured. They've rotated. This is the best central defensive pairing. I was looking at it. They put up a predicted 11 for the PFA Player of the Year awards, which will obviously be voted by the players. A lot of people saying Van Dijk's going to be in it. He's had an outstanding season. Which Arsenal centre-back do you think would get in that PFA 11 next to Van Dijk? Are they going to go Saliba? Are they going to go Gabriel? I'm leaning slightly towards Gabriel, man, because of the goals as well. And that's not me dismissing Saliba, but I think he's got 5-6 goals this season as well. So, yeah, listen, superb brick wall settings. Easy work for them last night. Let's go into the midfield. Thomas Partey, for me, yesterday was a massive, massive positive. I think a lot of Arsenal fans had given up on him. Understandably so. We've been frustrated with his inability to stay fit. He hasn't started a game for Arsenal since August. And I think, listen, I know you're going to look at the opposition. It's Luton, blah, blah, blah. But I thought he was excellent yesterday. Considering he hasn't started for that long. Some of his passing was superb. I think there was a lot to build on. So 8 out of 10 for Thomas Partey. 70 minutes in the tank. His ability to play that ball between two midfielders into Odegaard deserves a lot of credit. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. So for me, I mean, Wilsey said bad game, 6 out of 10. I don't know what game he was watching. He was solid. Some of his passing was superb yesterday. But hey, it's a game of opinions, right? I give him 8 out of 10. I think you get him fully fit. Yeah, I said it all along, Anna. 10 games. Give us 10 Premier League games. He's given us 2, 8 to go. We want 5 in the Champions League as well. Interesting thing now, do you start him against Brighton? Is he fit enough to play Wednesday and Saturday? Do you rest him for Brighton? Do you bring him back in for Bayern Munich? You can have some big decisions to make there. But yeah, listen, I thought he did well. Hasn't started since August. We're now in April. That's a good performance. Let's go to the other two midfielders. Let's go to Emile Smith-Rowe. Was given man of the match by TNT Sports. And you know me, I'm a big fan of Smith-Rowe. And I thought he did well yesterday. I wouldn't give him man of the match. I thought there was an element of sympathy involved in that. I think first half he did really well. Pre-assist or pre-assist. But listen, he won the ball back off the Luton midfielder, gave it to Havertz, gave it to Odegaard, goal. Second one, gets it from Trossard, pulls it back. Nelson, I don't know how he doesn't score, but they get their own goal. I'm going to give him an 8. Second start of the season, up against it, looked like his career was over. I think he gave himself an opportunity to rescue his career yesterday. He wasn't amazing. Listen, he ran out of gas in the second half. He looked like he had a caravan on his back in the second half. He couldn't move. But that first half gives me hope. There's still something there. And what I like so much about ESR, when ESR's fit and he's given game time, he can influence the goal. He can get you a goal. He can get you an assist. He needs some sort of run in the team, even if he doesn't start against Brighton. He can't be sitting on the bench for 90 minutes. Give him 20 minutes. You know, for me, in that attacking midfield role after Odegaard, Smith Rowe is the best player. Fabio Vieira has not answered any questions in that role. Havertz didn't do the business when he played in midfield. It should be Smith Rowe. So I'm happy for him. 8 out of 10. Build on it. Got man of the match from TNT. I wouldn't have given him man of the match, but that was a building block, a foundation to build on. He needs game time. He needs an opportunity. So I hope he rescues his Arsenal career. Martin Odegaard, the skipper, El Capitan. I thought he was superb last night. I really do. I thought he was excellent. Some of his footwork was so good, TNT Sports didn't even acknowledge it in the replays. The little double tap pass that he did a couple times, the goal, he makes it look easy, but trust me, the ball coming from that side and you hit across the ball into the far corner. The technique is just magnifique, people. Je ne sais quoi, va-va-voom, as Thierry would say. 9 out of 10, man of the match, superb performance, just brilliant. Brilliant performance. He's one of the most important players in this team. Sometimes people think in the chat I'm a little bit harsh on him. It's not because I don't rate him. It's because I think he's such a talented footballer that I expect so much of him. And I'm always kind of looking at him in the big games. Is he going to turn up? Is he going to be creative enough? So that's what I'm looking at in the next probably 8 league games. But he was superb last night. Really good. Great goal. And he needs to shoot more. He should score more goals, in my opinion. 15 last season. He needs to be hitting double figures this season. Martin Odegaard now is on 7 goals, 6 assists. Last season, he got 15 goals, 7 assists. So he's 8 goals behind, but there is 8 games left. So let's hope he gets double figures at least. Let's go into the front three. For me, and I don't like being too harsh, right? But I have to speak my truth. For me, Reiss Nelson, this might sound like an exaggeration. I think Reiss Nelson ended his Arsenal career last night. I think he ended his Arsenal career last night. And some people might think, wow, that's a bit of a, strong comment. The reason I think he ended his Arsenal career, I don't think he'll start another game between now and the end of the season. I think that was the opportunity. Midweek against Luton at home. Luton have got an injury crisis. Saka needs a rest. He gets the start. Didn't do the business. Didn't even create a moment that I thought, oof, there's something to work with there. He will not start a game for the rest of this season. He'll hardly come off the bench, and I think clubs will be in for him in the summer, and I think if somebody makes a decent offer, Arsenal will accept it. It's sad, but it's the reality. Arsenal, we are not a kindergarten, we are not a nursery. We cannot babysit. We cannot babysit. They've been talking about Reiss Nelson for 5 years as an upcoming prospect. I still ain't seen the upcoming prospect. He's 24 years of age. We still talk about Reiss Nelson like he's a teenager. Like he's 18 and we're waiting for him to, burst onto the scene. It's not happening. Worked hard, didn't do anything, didn't run forward enough. To make matters worse, Smith Rowe gives him a goal on a plate. He misses the ball, nutmegs himself, and it's an own goal. He didn't do enough. Got taken off. You could see he wasn't happy. You're a winger. You're quick. You're dynamic. Gamble. Run at the fullback. Show people what you're about. Lift the fans off their seat. All he did was pass the ball backwards. Maybe he didn't have the confidence. And confidence is easy to lose, hard to gain. And you're right, South London's right. This guy was the superstar. He was bigger and better than Saka in the youth team. He was in the same England youth team as Jadon Sancho. And they said Nelson was the better player. It just hasn't happened. Dre said you make it sound worse than it is. Listen, bro, I think that's the end of his Arsenal career. 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10. He was our worst player. I'm keeping it 100. He didn't do anything. Let's go to the other wing. Leandro Trossard. I thought he was lively. Some good footwork. Twisting and turning. I think he realised in a straight line race, he couldn't really outpace the right back, but he was twisting him and turning him, put some good crosses in. I'll give him a 7. I thought he was solid, above average, good, not spectacular, but I thought he did well. Would have liked him to have had a few more shots, but I thought he did okay. He worked hard. And it's not easy on that left-hand side playing for Arsenal because you don't have an overlapping fullback. Your fullback is inverting. So yeah, I thought Trossard did okay. 7 out of 10 for Trossard. Some of you giving him 6, 7. Guy Fawkes said if you can't grab the opportunity at home to Luton, you ain't good enough in regards to Reece Nelson. And let's finish off with Havertz. Havertz for me didn't play that well last night. But I have to give him some credit because he got another stat, and that was the assist. It was 0-0. We needed the assist. Something that I really don't like about Havertz yesterday. Havertz is 6'3", and you're looking for free kicks, and you dive as well. The guy dived and got booked, which is just stupid. He spent too much time rolling around on the floor yesterday instead of thinking, you know what, I'm in good form. I'm 6'3", sorry, and I actually need to impose myself on people physically. We ain't got time for you to be diving at home against Luton. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to give him 6.5. I thought it was an average performance from him. I'm going to be honest. He got booked, he dived, and he got hooked. And I don't think his hold-up play was that great. But he got an important assist. And listen, stats are important. They are important, especially for attacking players. He's now got 8 goals, 4 assists. Now, considering how bad he was in the first 20 games, he's probably going to end this season with double figures in the Premier League in terms of goals. And maybe you could be talking 10, 12 goals, 6, 7 assists. I would have taken that at the start of the season. So some of you giving him 7, some of you giving him 6. Got to be stronger. You're 6'3". You're a big guy. You've got strength. Be aggressive. Don't go looking for free kicks. So give him a 6.5. Let's go to the bench. And who came on? I can't even remember. Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah, Tomiyasu, Jorginho, Declan Rice. I mean, do we really need to break down these performances? I can hardly remember the subs doing anything, to be honest. We'll just give them all the same rating. I can't remember any of them doing anything that makes me think, oh, we'll give him a high. Standard 6. Standard 6 for the whole of the bench. Eddie is done out here. Yeah, Eddie's on his way out as well, I think. Standard 6 for the bench. Mikel Arteta, I'm going to give Arteta 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. I think he made the right decision. He made changes. I think what's great about last night is, Rice only came on for 20 minutes, so he's had a good rest. Saka not in the squad. Report saying he'll be fine for the weekend. So I think it was important. I thought Mikel did really well. Yeah, sometimes I think he overplays players, and I think he made the right decision last night by rotating. So job done, and we move on. Before we do move on, let's quickly go through the waffle settings, people. Apologies, but, I like to make sure the community's fed. Waffle settings. He doesn't look very happy. Maybe that second half frustrated him. Let's hear what he had to say. Why is Trossard holding his back like an old man? Man looks, the grey hairs holding his back like a 50-year-old. On the performance of Smith Rowe and Nelson, he said, I look at my players in my squad in a different way. It's a joy to have them fit. If we want to utilise the squad, maximise what they have to play. I think it was the right moment to do that. They responded really well. I'm so happy. We've won again, especially with a few players. Doesn't mention them individually. On rhythm, I'm making 5 changes. For sure, I wanted to give them rhythm. When they have that moment, they have to take it, and they certainly did today. They gave me a reason every day, regardless of the result. It would not have been down to making changes. It's not as simple as that. At the end, you have to do what is right. I was full of confidence they would respond. Another clean sheet. You're right. Coleman music. Coleman music. Mickey Rose. Rose. That's my nickname. He made a lot of changes and it worked. I'm going to get through this quick. On whether he knows when Man City and Liverpool will be playing, he said, I knew that Man City is playing now. I know Liverpool are playing tomorrow. That's because Klopp was trying to say he didn't know Arsenal and Man City were playing yesterday. That's cap. On whether the feeling of being top of the table is important, he said, for sure it means we are where we are, really close. We are showing a lot of consistency and quality to be fighting. Now it's sleep, eat, prepare well, and now it's Brighton. Whether the squad is stronger than last season going into the running, he said it's certainly different to what we had last season, and big injuries. Touch wood, we can maintain them, and then they can be there. We have to perform and have an impact in the team. On Martin Odegaard's quality and leadership, he's really important. We needed that balance as well as chemistry. Certain players have, because it's how they train, how we build those connections and relationships. Martin is there to connect everything, and he doesn't rest often, does he? That could have been an opportunity to put Odegaard on the bench, but he doesn't rest very often. Gunnar Carlos said, anyone noticed since not being a regular, ESR is the king of almost goals, even with little appearances, his opportunities. He could have been 7 goals minimum. He always gets chances, but I like players that get in goal-scoring positions. On whether tonight's game will improve Smith Rowe's confidence, he says, I think a lot. I love him as a player. It's a joy to watch him, how he moves, he changes direction, how physical he was today without the ball. He won a lot of things and duels. He was thinking with that killer instinct to play forward, to make things happen. And when Emil is in that moment, it's very difficult to stop him. Today, he helped us a lot. On Kai Havertz receiving his 9th booking, he said, we have to be careful. Hopefully he doesn't get booked anymore, because with the 10th, we know what happens. Now, I understand that question was false. Havertz actually has 8 yellow cards, not 9. After game 32, I believe you can't get suspended for that anymore. So basically, if Havertz gets 2 yellow cards in his next couple of games, it would be a 2-match ban. So at this stage of the season, we don't want stupid yellow cards. Interesting that Rodri at Manchester City is on 8 yellow cards as well. So, yeah, 10 yellow cards at this stage is a 2-match ban. So the journalist said 9 yellow cards and the guy's on 8 yellow cards. Probably went to university to become a journalist. Doesn't even know how many bookings Kai Havertz is on. They moaned at me for asking about Mbappe. Hey, serious. Come on, just do a Google search, my friend. It will tell you everything. On whether he's surprised he's got 9 bookings. Actually, he's got 8 bookings, mate. He said, I'm surprised. That's a different player. I don't know. I will have to go back and look at those cards. It's something to improve. We don't want our players to have that many. I think we are the best in the league on that. Something to improve. Whether he's happy with Tomiyasu, he said, is Tomiyasu happy? Then I'm happy. I'm really happy. I like him. He fully deserves that. I think he's growing with the team. We need consistency from him when he's fit and available. Today, when he came on, he was really good. He keeps diving. Yeah, that could be how Havertz is getting the yellow cards, which is a bit of a stupid way to pick up bookings, really. A bit frustrating as well. On Saka's fitness, he was close to being involved. He felt something similar to Man City. It was a very short turnaround. Hopefully, he'll be able to train tomorrow and will be available for the weekend. So Saka should be back. Yes, quick press conference. Whether he feels different this time to last season's title race, said, I can't remember how I was feeling last year. I was excited. We kept growing. We tried our best. In the end, we didn't do enough to win it. Sometimes you have to recognise the consistency and quality of other teams like we did and try again and go again. And we are there. Waffle setting's over. No more syrup. Let's get that over with. Good news that Saka will be available for the weekend. Before we do move on, if you are still awake, by the way, because an Arteta press conference is definitely not the most exciting. We are top of the league for the time being. Liverpool play Sheffield United tonight. I would expect them to savage them at home. And I think that will be a goal fest. Salah doing interviews saying he wants to win the Golden Boot. So I think you'll see a lot of shots from Mo Salah tonight. But listen, we are top of the league. It's where we want to be. Top goal scorers, 5 goals ahead of City and Liverpool. Best defence, 3 goals ahead of Liverpool. 8 goals ahead of Liverpool on goal difference and 10 ahead of Man City. Let's hope Liverpool don't score too many goals tonight. That goal difference, you never know. Imagine we finish level on points at the end of the season. Goal difference is an extra point at the end of the day. You win the league based on that. So it's unbelievable, the title race that we are about to have. When is the last time you saw 3 teams at the top of the league separated by 1 point in the Prem? Unbelievable, the title race that we are about to see. Big up Greeny Man Productions, member for 34 months, said, big up yourself. Big up Howell Beast, said, Big C, 5-0 incoming for Liverpool tonight. But could it be Salah's last season? Maybe, if the Saudi offer comes again. Top of the Bomber Clark League, but listen, as we saw last year, Cecil was making T-shirts when we were top, but it's all about who finishes top of the league, and that's what we need to do. Anyway, let's move on. Top of the league for the time being. A couple of things we want to talk about. And let's start by talking about Jorginho. Could be on his way out of Arsenal this summer. Although there's nothing definitive here in what's being said. And this is going to be the first poll of the day. Now, Jorginho's agent says he wants to win Euro 2024 with Italy. His contract with Arsenal expires in June, and they have not called us to extend as of now. We'll talk soon, but if he doesn't stay, he could return to Serie A, and he's being linked with a return to Lazio in the summer. Now, somebody put in the comments that Jorginho wanted to go back to Italy, but we convinced him to stay. Would you let Jorginho go for free this summer? Yes or no? There we go. The poll is there. Now, he might be looking at it thinking, well, the reason I'm asking this question is because I think the thought process amongst Arsenal fans was Partey will leave, Jorginho will become El Neni, we will sign a new midfielder. As I've said, and I'm going to explain in the next story, it now looks like Partey may stay at Arsenal next season. So, do we then get rid of Jorginho, bring in a new midfielder, and then keep Thomas Partey? I don't know. Maybe you could go Rice, new midfielder, Partey and Jorginho. I don't know. Me personally, I would probably let him go. I think it's very important in football that you let a player go while they're still decent rather than keeping him and he's got nothing left. I don't know. He's done well for us this season. He has, but I think it's time to upgrade, but he is very important in the dressing room. But I just think, you look at the teams we're competing with. I mean, he's 32. He turns 33 this year, so it'll be next season. By the end of next season, he would be 33. Has he still got it? I don't know. Either way, it's not the end of the world. You could, have Rice, a new centre mid, Thomas Partey, and then Jorginho as fourth choice for next season. That's not the end of the world. I just think it's the right time to possibly let him go. I still wouldn't be surprised, though, if Arteta give him a one-year contract extension. But maybe he might feel in himself that it's time to go back to Italy, because for him, he stays at Arsenal next year, he's a bench player. He goes to Lazio or someone like that, maybe he can start on a regular basis. So, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Me being harsh, I would probably say thank you and move him in the summer. I would like to see... Listen, for me, ideal world. I tell you my ideal scenario. Keep Partey for one more year as a squad player. You've got Declan Rice, so there's two centre mids. I would like to see Arsenal sign two midfielders. And I would let El Neni and Jorginho go in the summer. That's what I would do. But, yeah, Partey as third choice. So you get a new centre mid, and then maybe get another centre mid as well. But I think they will possibly keep him still. I think they will give him fourth choice, El Neni, Partey third, sign a new midfielder, Declan Rice number one. I wouldn't be surprised at that. But me, Jorginho, I would shake his hand, say thank you for 2 years of service on your bike. Chelsea let him go 2 years ago. I think we've probably... I think it's time to freshen that midfield up now. But listen, the comments there, the polls there, let me know. One thing you can say about him, listen, experienced player, good on the ball, very important in the dressing room. I just think, do I want to be going into next season with a 33-year-old Jorginho on the bench when you're trying to win the Premier League, win the Champions League? Probably not. Probably not. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Maybe it's time for him to go back to Italy. And the second part of that conversation, and Cole said he struggles against some of the bigger teams when they're a bit more mobile, is Thomas Partey done a short interview after the game yesterday. We're not going to read the whole interview, but the main point of that interview, he said, I'm happy and I want to stay at Arsenal. And I did say this. And by the way, it's an interesting one. People saying get Ross Barkley as fourth choice. He's better than El Neni, and he's a free in the summer. But, you know, if you had Declan Rice, maybe a Fofana, a Barella, or someone like that as your second choice, Partey as third, Barkley as fourth, that's not bad. It's not bad. But Partey said, I want to stay. Now, I don't want to say I told you so. But I did say a couple of weeks ago, I've spoken to somebody who knows Partey well, and they said, hey, there you go, gonna roll it, you know. 2 weeks ago, I said, I spoke to somebody at the Emirates who knows Thomas Partey very well, and he said, Partey is not leaving Arsenal. He said, all these stories, people think he's leaving, he's seeing out his contract. He's not going anywhere. He wants to finish his deal. He's happy at Arsenal. He loves it in London. He's got married. He's had a kid. He's 30 years of age. He ain't going nowhere unless Arsenal force him out. And Arsenal are not going to force him out. So Partey is a squad player. If you can keep him fit for 20 games. People screaming Barkley is crazy. Fourth choice should be someone for the future. Well, I think people just putting names out there. But listen, yeah, of course he loves the bag. 200 grand a week. He loves it in London. You know, he's driving Lambos and Louis Vuitton and drip, and he's going to concerts. He's enjoying himself. You have him as a squad player. I don't think there's a major problem there. It's just keeping him fit. 30 years young outside the football world. I bet he's loving London. Of course he is. How beast not. Old man Partey got to go. Imagine having Jesus and Partey in the injury list. Keep Partey 100% as long as there's no allegation, says Zach. Charlie Patino, I just don't think as of yet has kicked on to the levels that Arsenal were hoping for him to become a first-team player. I've watched Patino a couple times in the Championship. I'm not yet convinced he comes to Arsenal and becomes a first-team player. I'm just not. Get me Kessie, said Highbury's local badger. Wanieri maybe gets a chance. And Partey, hey, we're not going to go into that. Big up James Bond with the super chat. Jorginho has served his purpose. We're back in the Champions League and title race. His experience has been great for us. We're now set to be in the Champions League next season. Let's get a younger star to push next season for major trophy. I completely agree with that. I think it's time to move Jorginho on. I think for 12 million for 2 seasons, he served his purpose. Leadership, good on the ball, but the legs aren't there. And I think now we need a more energetic, more physical, more vibrant centre midfield. If you want a player like Jorginho that keeps the ball well, get me the younger version of Jorginho that can run as well, that we're going to build with for the future. I don't want a 33-year-old Jorginho getting regular game time in the Arsenal team next season. I think it's time to move on from him. Respectfully is what I would say. Big up James. And Jerome said, big up Big C in the community. Let's give Mikel Arteta credit. We are talking about yellow cards, but a few years ago, Arsenal were up there on red cards. You're right. Especially under Wenger and that, we had a real lack of discipline when it came to red cards. So, yeah, you're spot on with that. But Partey wants to stay. He said, I'm not leaving. James said, go and get De Jong from Barcelona. Jay said, I would love us to sign Paqueta. Highbury's local badger said, Kessie, Barella and Fofana. I mean, I'm a big fan of Barella. I think it'd be tough to get because Inter are about to win Serie A. Fofana, I've said many times, I think we should be signing him. Neil says Musiala. Rory Sang said Ethan Wanieri as fourth choice. Do a Sambi poll. Listen, a lot of people want him back, Jay. I'm telling you now, I respect the community, right? We don't need to do a poll on Sambi Lokonga. Don't get caught up in a decent season he's having at Luton. I don't want Sambi Lokonga anywhere near Arsenal Football Club. Let me make that abundantly clear. Use Sambi's decent form at Luton to get rid of him. We don't need to do a poll for Sambi Lokonga, that is for sure. I respect that he's had a decent season, but I think he might have found his level. Yeah, Sambi should never kick a ball for Arsenal Football Club ever again. Jo said, I want Ross Barkley in the El Neni role. Luton will get relegated and he's on low wages. The next Yaya Toure. Actually, it was the next Yaya Sonoga. Unknown C. Sambi Pole. Should we sell him in the summer or should we sell him in the summer? Exactly. We don't want Lokonga at Arsenal. Lokonga's got to go. Nuno Tavares got to go. Eddie Nketiah's got to go. Reece Nelson's got to go. Cedric's got to go. El Neni's got to go. And that's just the starting point. You probably get rid of Ramsdale. You might get rid of Zinchenko. You might get rid of Fabio Vieira. There's plenty of players that we can sell this summer and raise cash. That is for sure. So Partey wants to stay. And the final part of the sort of midfield triangle discussion that we've got today. I said El Neni twice. That's how much I want him out, apparently. We spoke about this briefly yesterday, but there's more stories coming out regarding him today. Arsenal are planning to offer 29-year-old Joshua Kimmich a 3-year contract at the end of the season. It's believed Arsenal will make an offer between 40 and 45 million for the German international. So, second poll of the day. Let's end the Jorginho one. No need for Sambi Lokonga polls. 54% of you saying we should let Jorginho go this summer. 46% say give him a 1-year contract extension. Now, second poll of the day. Would you sign Joshua Kimmich this summer? Simple, yes or no. When I think about this, when I think about my answer to this question, I'm like, bro, how can you even think about it? Like, you sign Kimmich. He's a monster. Like, this guy has been, it's a no-brainer. Maybe I'm becoming a bit spoiled a little bit. I'm weighing it all up like he's 29, he's on big wages, blah, blah, blah. I've got to be honest. If you can get Kimmich for 45 million quid, you've got to sign him. I've got to really look at myself in the mirror and say, bro, 2 years ago, I was out here saying, get Tielemans to Arsenal. Now I'm saying, get Kimmich. Don't get me wrong. The source on this story, I mean, I might as well go and get the barbecue sauce out of my fridge and tell you that's the source. This guy is a shambles of a source. But there are other sources from yesterday who were reporting it as well. Kimmich for 45 million, I'm doing the deal. I'm doing the deal. This guy has won a lot. He doesn't get injured a lot. He can play right back, defensive midfield. He can play. Imagine Kimmich and Declan Rice. It's a serious midfield. 29 is me being a little bit fussy in the sense that, yeah, we're in a generation now where we want to sign 25-year-olds and 22-year-olds because we have this mentality that you can get even better and you can be at the club for 10 years. We look at 29-year-olds and 28-year-olds and go, oh, no, they're old. They're going to be 30 in 2 years or a year. They're finished. I think sometimes you've also got to look at it and say, you need experience. You need leadership. You need people who've been there and done it. This guy's won multiple titles, won the Champions League. You need winners. You need people who've been there and done it. You don't want a group of players with inexperience who haven't achieved anything. Doesn't always work. And I'm with you. I wish he was 26, 27. Also, the other thing that puts me off, though, I'll be honest, he's on £280,000 a week. That is a problem because he ain't going to take a pay cut. Unless you give him a huge signing on fee. So he's got a year left on his deal. For me, what I'm doing, I'm offering Bayern Munich a low price for him. I'm not doing them any favours, right? If I might be offering 35 million as the first offer. I'm not paying big money for him because of the wage and the age. He's got to be 40 million around there. 40, 45 max. They've been linked with Zinchenko. You know, we'll give you Zinchenko and 20 million for Kimmich. I'll be happy with that. City are being linked with him as well. Very good play. That's a good point. It says 280 grand. I don't know if that's euros or pounds. If it's euros, maybe it's around 250. But it's big, big wages. Pep wants him. Pep's managed him. Maybe he ends up there. But will you still eat waffles on here if we win? Bro, if we win the title, we're doing a waffle along live on here. ASMR. Waffles and syrup. Listen, if we win the title or the Champions League, there's so much going on this channel. It's unbelievable. I'm going on tour if we win the title. I'm getting the passport, the wallet, and I'm going on tour. I'll be celebrating for at least probably 8 to 10 days. I'll wake up in a Vegas hotel. It'll be like Hangover. You know, that's what it is. If we win the league or the Champions League, oh my day, we'll have a party live on stream that night. We'll be on stream till 5 a.m. just dancing, just singing. All sorts be going off. It'll be crazy. You won't see anything like it if we win the league. I'm telling you. They don't want Arsenal winning the league. They're not going to be able to live with our fan base. It's going to be painful for people if we win the league or the Champions League. Trust me. I won't live it down. City won the treble. If you're not a Man City fan, not one football fan in the world cares. That's the reality. I'm asking every single one of you in the chat right now, if you're not a Manchester City fan in the chat, do you care that Man City won the treble last year? I don't give a damn. I've forgotten about it. It doesn't mean anything to me because it just feels like it's not authentic. Nobody cares about Man City if you're not a Man City fan. That's just the reality. They achieved one of the greatest things in football in history. I don't give a damn about it. I actually don't give a damn about it. If Arsenal win one trophy, title or Champions League, they're going to need to ban me from social media. I'm telling you that now. It's going to be relentless. It's going to be relentless. I can't even lie. Kugler said yes to Kimmich, real leader, mentality monster. James Bond said Kimmich can rotate with Benny and play DM. E-Ross said war chest summer incoming people. Yeah, that story will surely pop up from... what's the guy? John Cross. And Jitesh says, Kimmich or J20, it's a no-brainer. Would you take Musiala if it meant not getting a striker? No, I wouldn't. I would not. The striker and centre midfielder has to be priority number one. Priority number one. I'm not taking Musiala over a striker. No chance. And I like Musiala. He's a top player. The striker and centre midfielder should be at least 50% of our transfer budget this summer. Go and buy. Because... I tell you why, because we need a right winger, but in reality, the right winger's probably not going to start because we've got Saka. The centre midfielder probably is going to start next to Declan Rice. The striker is going to start. So we need to spend big on those players. But no, I wouldn't take Musiala over a striker. Guile said, would you take the Champions League and League now, but no trophies for 3 years? Bro, listen. Let me tell you something. 3 years... Bro, I would take 10 years. 10 years, no trophy for Champions League and Premier League this season. You can give me a decade of no trophy. We've been there before. Wenger went 9 years, no trophy. That Champions League win will marinate for at least 10 years. At least. That star above the badge. Aye, come on. We win the Champions League in the same season. I've completed football. I'm simply watching Arsenal for the rest of my life purely for vibes. I'm watching for vibes. Champions League in the league, bro, completed it, mate. Football, completed it. Championship Manager, completed it, mate. You can't complete it. I took Woking from the conference to the Champions League in 6 seasons. That kind of work doesn't go unnoticed. If you watch In-Betweeners, by the way, you're with me right now. I'm dropping jokes from there. If you don't, you're thinking, what the hell is this guy on about? Listen, Champions League and the league, we're ending football. I don't need another trophy ever. Completed it. But yeah, great question. And Granit Xhaka is in the chat. By the way, Granit Xhaka's about to potentially win the double. He could actually win a treble. Do you know that Leverkusen... Did they actually win yesterday or is it tonight? Leverkusen are in the semi-final of the German Cup. They're 13 points clear at the top of the league. and they're in the quarterfinal of the Europa League. Granit Xhaka, the guy that we were desperate to get out of this football, could go and win a treble this season. It's just unbelievable. Amazing that he's probably going to stop Harry Kane winning a trophy, which is just beautiful. And then we need to end his Champions League hopes. Imagine a treble. Granit is living life. You're not wrong. Always rated Granit, said Eros. It took him too long to become a good player for us, you know. I would still want to win. Nah, Thermal, listen, I would still want to win, of course. But you win that double, I'm set for life, bro. I'm set for life in terms of trophies. Anyway, big up to everyone for tuning in today. Really appreciate your support as always. Yeah, we're through all the stories. I'll get into a few of your comments before we round up. And let's end that poll surrounding Josh Kimmich. 75% of you, 74% of you, said you would sign Kimmich, and 26% say no, I would take him. That is for sure. Edu will buy back Granit for 100 million. I'm 50 years a Gooner and still waiting, says I am Gammon. Yeah, listen, we're all waiting for that Champions League, man. We all want it. They're in the final of the German Cup. So he's going to win the league, definitely. That's pretty much won. Final of the German Cup. I think they're playing Leverkusen. Are playing Kaiserslautern, is it? Or someone like that. I'm not sure. I know they're in the other semi. So, listen, they could win 2 or 3 trophies. I reckon it'll be Leverkusen, Liverpool, Europa League final. So, very interesting. Listen, big up to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate your support as always. I will be back tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow, 2 p.m. Press conference reaction. Quick turnaround. We'll be previewing, looking ahead to Arsenal against Brighton, which is on Saturday at 5:30. So Saturday, watch along. I'll be live from 4:30. Sunday, I'm doing a watch along for Manchester United against Liverpool. I was thinking about doing Palace Man City, but I just don't think I want to do it to myself. And I don't think Palace will get anything out of that game. So we'll leave it. So, yeah, tomorrow 2 p.m. press conference reaction. Saturday, Arsenal against Brighton. And Sunday, Man United against Liverpool. Enjoy your Thursday. Take care. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.